Your backyard birds are constantly warning each other about dangers you've never noticed. A sharp call in the morning, maybe a hawk, a sudden flight, perhaps a cat. Stay to the end because you'll learn the secret language of birds that changes your whole perspective. Number 1. The alarm call. A single, sharp note that cuts through the stillness of a morning in your yard. It's not just a sound, it's a language, a warning passed from one bird to another in a split second. The northern cardinal's Phoebe's cry is more than a melody, it's a lifeline for the entire neighborhood. When a hawk circles overhead, that one call can send a ripple of awareness through every tree and shrub. Your birds are listening, and they're learning, all without a word spoken. This is how survival becomes a shared experience. Each alarm call carries a story, a hidden message that only the birds understand. The black-capped chickadee, for instance, can alter its call to signal not just danger, but what kind of danger. A specific note might warn of a hawk circling above, while another might signal the presence of a snake on the ground. This level of communication is so precise that neighboring birds can adjust their behavior almost instantly. It's not just about escaping, it's about knowing when to hide, when to fly, and when to stay still. What this means for you is that the birds in your yard are part of a vast silent network of cervix circling pasht. But even the most advanced alarm system has its limits. If a predator is too close, the call may not be enough. That's when the birds must rely on instinct, speed, and the safety of numbers. In those split seconds, the survival of an entire flock depends on how quickly the message is received and acted upon. The call is only the beginning. What follows is a silent, coordinated dance of flight and cover. And yet, the birds continue to rely on this ancient, unspoken language, passing it down from one generation to the next. Next, we'll uncover how they prepare for the storm that follows, long before the first drop of rain falls. Number 2. The silence of stealth. In your yard, when the air feels still and the birds fall silent, it's not just the absence of song, it's a survival strategy. Under the watchful eyes of a great horned owl, the American robin and others freeze, their melodies replaced by an eerie hush. This silence is a signal, a way for birds to detect danger even when it's unseen or hidden in the shadows of the trees. The forest becomes a stage where survival is not about sound, but about silence and the ability to listen. What this means for you is that the quietest moments in your yard might be the most dangerous, but also the most fascinating. It's a language only the birds to detect danger even when it's unseen or hidden in. In dense woods, where sound bounces and distorts, silence becomes a powerful tool for survival. The American robin's decision to stop singing is not a sign of fear, but of awareness, an instinctual response hardwired into generations of birds. The University of Washington found that birds can detect predators even when they're out of sight simply by reading the absence of sound. This adaptation is especially critical in thickets where visibility is limited and every rustle or snap can mean the difference between life and death. The birds are not just reacting to the owl, they're anticipating its presence, their silence a shield against the invisible threat that lurks in the shadows. This is how they survive, not through noise but through the art of stillness. What unfolds in those silent moments is a dance of survival, where every breath, every pause, and every missed note is a calculated move in the game of life. The American robin's ability to read the silence of the forest is a testament to the power of adaptation, of knowing when to speak and when to stay quiet. The owl, though unseen, casts a presence that silences the songs of the forest, turning the yard into a place of hushed tension. But in this silence, there is a lesson for you. The birds are not just reacting, they are listening. And in that listening, they find their way through the danger, one silent moment at a time. What comes next in their journey is a mystery, but one that will be written in the language of stillness. Number 3. The mockingbird's mimicry is a masterclass in survival through deception. In your yard, this bird can imitate the calls of hawks, owls, and even other mockingbirds, creating a cacophony that confuses rivals and potential threats. This mimicry is not just a showy talent, it's a calculated move, used to defend territory, scare off intruders, and protect food sources. The northern mockingbird's ability to repeat the calls of up to 20 different species is a testament to its adaptability and intelligence. In the heat of a territorial dispute, it can mimic a predator's call, causing its opponent to flee in fear. This strategy ensures that the mockingbird can secure its space with minimal physical conflict. What this means for you is that when you hear a cacophony of unfamiliar calls in your yard, it might not be a sign of chaos, but of a mockingbird using its mimicry to assert dominance. These birds have been observed using predator calls not only to frighten off rival birds, but also to manipulate the behavior of other species, including smaller birds that might compete for food or nesting spots. The PNAS study highlighted that this mimicry is not random. It's a learned strategic behavior that can be passed down through generations. In your backyard, this means that the mockingbird is not just surviving, but thriving by outsmarting others with its vocal versatility. Its voice becomes a weapon, a shield, and a tool for survival. But there's a hidden cost to this mimicry. Every performance requires energy, focus, and a memory that can store and recall a wide range of sounds. The mockingbird must constantly listen, learn, and imitate, sometimes over months, to perfect its repertoire. This effort is worth it when it comes to securing a prime nesting spot or protecting its young from danger. As the season shifts, the mockingbird's mimicry becomes more intricate, more precise, and more powerful. What you might not hear is the moment of silence that follows each mimicry act, a brief pause where the mockingbird listens for the reaction of others, waiting for the chaos it has sown to do its work. This is the secret of survival, not just in sound, but in silence. Number 4. The nest alarm. In your yard, when a predator lurks near a hidden nest, a sudden, sharp sound cuts through the air, a signal not just for the parent birds but for others nearby. It's a language of survival, a call that can mean the difference between safety and disaster. The American goldfinch, for example, uses a short, high-pitched seat to alert its mate and even other birds in the vicinity. This isn't just a warning, it's a coordinated response to danger that spans the entire avian community. What this means for you is that your backyard is not just a place of beauty, but a stage for an intricate, silent drama of survival. The nest alarm isn't limited to the parent bird alone. In your yard, other species may respond to this call, even if they are not directly involved in the defense. For instance, the black-capped chickadee has an entire lexicon of calls, each tailored to the specific threat it faces, whether a predator is close or far, or even if it's a human approaching the nest. These calls are precise, efficient, and deeply ingrained in their behavior. The sound carries through the air like a ripple, reaching birds miles away. It's a reminder that survival is a shared effort, one that requires more than just instinct. It demands communication, vigilance, and a network of allies in the sky. Even if the predator is nowhere in sight, the nest alarm still echoes through the air, sending ripples of urgency across the forest. This response is a calculated evolutionary advantage, ensuring that the entire avian community can react before danger strikes. The sound carries with it a message: be ready, be alert, and be prepared to act. In your yard, this quiet call is the first line of defense, a lifeline for vulnerable young. What lies ahead is a question of how these birds will continue to adapt and survive as the seasons shift, and as the world around them changes ever so slightly. Number 5. The food call. In the hush of winter, when the earth is buried under snow and the world seems silent, some birds speak in a language of survival. The black-capped chickadee, your neighbor in the cold, carries a secret in its voice, a call that does more than announce danger. It whispers the location of a hidden cache of seeds, a lifeline in the sparse days of early spring. This is not just about sharing food, it's about the delicate balance of trust and cooperation in the wild. What this means for you is that your yard may be a stage for a silent symphony of survival. The chickadee's call is not random. It's a map. Each note carries information. A short, sharp chickadees might mean a nearby food source, while a longer, more complex sequence warns of nearby danger. In a 2015 study, scientists found that chickadees can guide other birds to food up to 50 feet away using these calls, even with non-relatives. This is a rare moment of unity in the wild, where survival is not a solitary battle, but a shared effort. The birds do not just rely on instinct, they rely on each other. It's a reminder that the forest is not only a place of competition, but of quiet, calculated cooperation. But there is a cost to this sharing. The call can draw the attention of predators, a risk that the chickadee calculates with precision. It's a tightrope walk between life and death, but the reward is a safer foraging group and more food found. The chickadee, your quiet ally in the yard, is a master of this balance. As the days grow longer and the snow retreats, the calls will change and new strategies will emerge. What happens next? Stay with us as we uncover the hidden language of the forest. Number 6. The storm signal. In the stillness just before a storm, a quiet shift occurs in the air, and some birds sense it before we do. The European starling and northern mockingbird, among others, emit low-frequency calls that ripple through the air like a warning. These calls are not for communication in the usual sense, but serve as an ancient, instinctual signal that danger is near. It's a language of survival, transmitted across distances by birds who have long learned to read the sky. What this means for you is simple. When you hear an unusual increase in bird calls on an otherwise quiet day, the air may be holding more than just stillness. It may be holding a storm. These calls, though inaudible to human ears, travel far and are picked up by birds miles away, giving them time to seek shelter or adjust their behavior. Studies have shown that birds can detect changes in atmospheric pressure long before a storm reaches them, and these calls act as a collective alarm system. The mockingbird, in particular, is known for its ability to mimic a wide range of sounds, including those that may signal the approach of a storm. This behavior is not learned but innate, passed down through generations as an evolutionary survival tactic. In your yard, these subtle shifts in bird activity are a natural phenomenon that speaks of resilience and awareness beyond our own comprehension. As the storm approaches, the calls grow more frequent, creating a chorus of urgency that echoes through the forest. Some birds may even alter their flight patterns or gather in tight flocks, a visible sign of the hidden signals being exchanged. This behavior has been observed by birders who note the strange synchronicity in bird movement before a storm. The storm may be invisible to us, but to these birds it is already here. What comes next in the story of survival is not just about the storm, but about the invisible networks of communication that help life endure the most sudden of changes In the stillness of the forest, a single bird senses the shadow of danger creeping through the trees. No cry can be sent, no signal given. It stands frozen, heart-pounding as the world holds its breath. It knows that if it moves, it may be seen. But it also knows that if it stays, it may be too late. In that moment, it is both hunter and hunted, alone in its silent vigil. And somehow, it chooses to live. It chooses to believe that it will survive. There is a moment, brief and terrible, when the bird feels the weight of the world pressing down on it. It is not just the predator that threatens it, but the silence that surrounds it, the absence of any sound, any ally, any hope. But in the depths of that fear, a spark of instinct rises. It flaps its wings, not in flight, but in defiance. It is not alone in the world, even if no one sees it. And in that moment, it is enough. It is enough to believe, to survive, to be. Next time you hear your backyard birds chirping, pause and think, what are they trying to tell you? Leave a comment below with what you think your birds are warning each other about. Maybe you'll spot something new. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.